kind of caught me off guard here. Okay. Now, thank you, Lord. Help me. Let me pray. Very simple. It takes a lot of money to do what we do. Oh, yeah. Well, for example, that's really none of your business. But, hey, you listening to me? Let me give you another example. And I prayed about it, and I thought, back when, and I might add another thing, too. It's a misunderstanding. I'm talking about the Bible. God, I get excited talking about it because I love it. I had to learn this, the demons. Abraham was very, very wealthy. I learned it from him, from the Bible.
There's a foundation in the Bible.
Wait a minute now. The blessing of Abraham. Abraham was extremely wealthy, and he had covenant with God. I'm talking about the Bible. Oh, God, I love this. And I started out standing. My grandfathers. I love the people. Those are the demons. And I understand that. And I love them with all my heart. If you go into the old covenant, and it's full of meanness, it's just full of hell on earth. He made that airplane so cheap for me, I couldn't help but buy it. I love your eyes. Face to face, personally. Just the same as Jesus is very real. They're rulers of the darkness of this world. God bless, Father bless. But it's a biblical thing. It's a spiritual thing. It doesn't have anything to do with people. And it's full of miracles and signs and wonders. It's full of unseen things. Jesus, people, I love people. Dragging some woman down an aisle, it made me so mad I wanted to punch the guy out myself. We wrestle not with people. And I have a lot of natural gas.
You see, sometimes we think we need all this fancy knowledge to grow as a human. But I got news for you. All you have to do is apply one concept and put it to work. That doubt is a virtue. Touch your neighbors and say it's time to doubt. Here's a new kind of faith. It's not the kind of faith of wishful thinking of the heart, or helps you deny reality, or only works seldomly. It's the kind of faith that's reliable, repeatable. It's the kind of faith that goes beyond all religions, all biases, embraces doubt. It's open to change. It's the kind of faith where you know when it's been misplaced. It's the kind of faith that works. You can make sense of it. You can explain it. It's the kind of faith that you can see, touch, feel, and hear. It's the kind of faith that really does heal the sick. We put our trust, we put our hope, we put our confidence in things that are observable, measurable, repeatable, and most importantly, falsifiable. Let's join together and have a faith that spits in the face of gullibility.
No more gullibility.
You have heard it said that faith has an objective. Well, what has your faith done for you lately?
Janet.
What has your faith done for society lately?
Not the goddamn
Stephen's
thing.
kind of faith has been around for thousands of years. But it was science that cured smallpox, measles, polio, and infection. Stephen doesn't want his faith to be held hostage to outcomes.
That's right.
But I say outcomes and results matter.
That's right.
Stephen said that with God in your presence, there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't heal. There's nothing you can't restore. But we all know that's not true.
That ain't true.
You can't fly.
That's right.
You can't walk on water.
That's right.
You can't raise the dead.
That's right.
Let's be humble. Let's be honest. Let's stop with the hoping and start with the reasoning. Say no to astrology on Monday. No to crystals on Tuesday. No to chakras on Wednesday. No to the vacuum salesman on Thursday. No to homeopathy on Friday. No to faith healing. And yes to medical healing. And on Sunday, I want a faith that doesn't need a holy book or a pastor or a priest or a rabbi or an imam to know it's not okay to harm others.
I think it's from a video that Pine Creek did. Maybe it's like a David Wood video. I'm not exactly sure. This clip was sent to me. I think Cameron sent this to me. Maybe Cameron knows which video this is from. All right. Right. That's Pentecostal Atheist Doug. Exactly. What's up, everybody? It's science time with Cliff. We've got everything here except Cliff. This happens. So what we're gonna do today? Let me lay out what we're gonna do today, and if Cliff is not here, then we'll go ahead and we'll make this more Avita Ed leaning, which is fine, and then we'll get into our day here. So let's see what we got going on. Unfortunately, I have to meet with the director of my program today. It's just hate meetings. I hate meetings, guys. All right, so we're gonna do science time. I got a meetinger, I guess, which is really annoying because I just want to work. Then I'm gonna do some coding. We may have time to get into day 5 of our January 6 hearings, or we may do that tomorrow because at 10 o'clock tonight, I have Gaming with Sacred Death. We have an event every Wednesday at 10, so I want to try to be around. But seriously, what a cliffhanger. You know, we're missing our cliff notes. All the cliff jokes apply here. But it's all good. Let's go ahead and get into... last time we talked to you guys about digital evolution, right? So that's the idea that, again, we're gonna state this very clearly. Evolution requires variation in a population. They come via mutation, selection. Some organisms have to do better than others at reproducing. And inheritance. Things have to be more like their parents than average. Or else, you know, you don't have transmission from generation to generation. Once you have those things, you have an evolving system. Evolution simply means you have change in that population over the course of generations. Could be any change. Doesn't have to be better. Doesn't have to be worse. Doesn't have to be a new trait. It could simply be the average size was this. Now the average size is that. We would say the average size has evolved from this to that. It really isn't that complicated. There are simulations of evolution. Normally what they're doing is they're taking some sort of natural thing, the evolution of the frog phylogeny, the evolution of a particular type of metabolism in bacteria, the evolution of a particular floral morphology in some plant, right? And they're running simulations to see what would have happened under a different mutation rate, what would have happened if they had predators, what would have happened if, fill in the blank, whatever the scientific question is. When you're working with systems like the systems that Cliff and I work with, we are not running simulations. We are not trying to ask ourselves about what happened in the natural world and then simulate that like American Truck Simulator is some sort of simulation of what happens in a real truck. What we have is an actual evolving system that demonstrates natural selection in an artificial environment. So some of these catchphrases that we have to use all the time, you will learn as well. We tell people all the time, our evolution is not a simulation, it's an instantiation. It is an instance of evolution, meaning it is an example of evolution itself. It is not a simulation of something going on in another system. You will also hear us say a lot, natural selection in an artificial environment, right? Because they'll go, well, it's a computer. Well, if it's a computer, how could it really be? It's not natural. It's not. That's not. It can't be natural selection, and it can't really be biology. How can it be biology? I mean, there's no cells. It's in a computer, right? Right. And they think that's very clever. They just sound like they don't know what they're talking about. Again, we give them the catchphrase: natural selection in an artificial environment. I know some of y'all are religious. You need to hear everything 3 times. Natural selection in an artificial environment. One more time for your deadbeat ass. Natural selection in an artificial environment. It really isn't that complicated. All right, folks. Cliff is not with us, so we're going to rock with some Avita Ed, which is perfectly fine. Actually, it's probably helpful because we'll be working with Avita Ed. My dissertation was in Avita. My students work with Avita, so that's perfectly fine. We'll do Avita Ed, and we'll get you guys caught up with Markov Brains next week, and then this will allow me to get ready for what I got to do going up. All right, so let me switch camera views. That's good. Let me pull up Avita Ed. I want to take a quick moment before I get started to thank you guys. We reached our fundraising goal for my birthday. I'm so happy our goal was to raise $100 by August 12th. We have actually raised $108. I'm going to match the $100 goal. So that will donate $200 on my birthday. So anything you guys donate now is just a bonus and greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much for your charitable contributions and your selflessness. I really, really appreciate it. Living the Vida Loca. Oh my God, we need that. We need that. That needs to be a song. YouTube Punk, please send me a message that says Living a Vida Loca on Discord or an email or something, just somewhere more permanent than the stream chat, please, so that I remember that and we make a song or something. We need to do that. Living the Vida Loca. That will. I'm telling you, my corny ass science friends will love the shit out of that. All right, let's get into this demonstration here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over here in the organism viewer, and we're going to start with the default ancestor. Now, a lot of you will notice that this is its genome, all Avidians in Avita Ed. Not in the research version of Avita, we can change the genome size. In Avita Ed, the genome size is always 50. All right, so this is 50 instructions. It's in a circle, just like a bacteria. All right, you'll notice the only instructions that are not these little orange C's are this Z, V, F, C, A, X, G, A, B, W, Z, C, A, G. This is just the copy loop. It's just the loop of instructions that allows this organism to make a copy of itself. Over here, we'll be able to see the instructions that it has just executed and the ones it's about to execute. Often tell my teachers when I'm giving a workshop, hey, if you want to challenge your students, go ahead and have them try to figure out what's going on in the copy loop. I just heard my restream go off. Up. The Theist, they're in a lot of trouble now. The main man, Cliff, is here. Cliff, what's up? How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Sorry, my email wasn't updating. I think my internet probably went out for a minute.
No worries. You're good.
Sorry about that.
We've come up with a brilliant idea. We're gonna make a Ricky Martin remix called "Living La Vida Loca." Or is it Living a Vida Loca? I don't know. Cliff, it's an Avita joke. Right. It's an Avita joke. It's going to be fantastic. All right. Before we do that, guys. All right, guys. Before we get into these Markov brains, let me show you the Avidian copying itself because I was in the middle of getting ready to do that. So I'll do that real quick, and then I'll turn things over to Cliff. All right. So. And this is good, guys, because we're going to sort of be talking about how Avita is different than Markov brains. So let's go ahead and watch the Nvidian reproduce, and then we'll let Cliff tell us about Markov brains. All right, so all we're going to do is go to run here.
We should just do the Avita. I gotta run at 2. Oh, I have to go at 2 again today. So
all right.
I'm in and out.
But as you guys can see, it's copying itself. It may or may not have a mutation, and that's just sort of the default way Avita works. But yeah, let's go ahead and get over here. I don't need my screen shared here. All right, Cliff, what's up, man? Go ahead. I'm going to turn it over to you. However you want to get into this is totally fine.
No, I was saying do the Avita stuff.
Oh, you were saying to do the Avita stuff because you don't have a lot of time. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. All right, guys, that's cool. So what you can see here, hang on a sec, Cliff. Let me get it back there so you can at least see it.
Then my end is.
Say that again. What'd you say?
I'm gonna try switching to a different internet.
Oh yeah, go for it. Also, if you can plug in, that'd be great. And then also try to see if you can get in through Restream because you'll have a lot more privileges back there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. You can do that while I do this. That's perfect. All right, guys. So I'm really excited to show you guys this because this is something you're gonna have to see me try to explain to Taylor and Rebecca and probably Sal. If I get the opportunity to debate Ken Hovind, I probably won't even try. What's up, Lena? Welcome to the live chat. All right, so let's look at this. Let me see what you guys are seeing so I can make sure I'm not talking to myself. All right, great. Now, what you guys will notice, right, is that a lot of these instructions, here, I'm gonna run it again. Let's just look at it. Sorry about that. I know I'm being confusing right now. All right, first thing is first. Let's look at the offspring. The offspring is a perfect copy of its parent, right? Except for this U. Let me move my camera. So you guys, I'm covering up the mutation. All right. Do you guys see the U? You see this blue U, right? That is the only difference. It's at instruction 41, right? That one U is the only difference of this offspring from its parent, all right? So that's a mutation. Now, something else that's really interesting is let's reset this. And instead of running it, I'm just going to step forward using the forward button. Now, why did I want to show you this? If you look over here, when it's saying what is the instruction that is just executed and what is the instruction that it's about to execute, both are NOP-C. This is a no operation instruction and will not do anything when executed. It can, however, modify the behavior of the instruction preceding it or another instruction. Now, why is that important? Because this is what we mean when we say that all of the functionality in Avita and Avita Ed and a lot of times in our MAVE experiments evolves de novo, meaning we do not code in any functionality to the organism other than its ability to reproduce. It is literally filled with blank tape. It is literally filled with instructions that don't do anything. This is incredibly important because you hear the LPPs of the world. Well, what was your fitness fidelity rate function? Oh, well, you guys had to hard code in a fidelity rate in order for your simulation to work. No, bro, we don't know what you're talking about. We have no clue what you're saying. The organism can copy itself imperfectly. Just like in biology, it is subject to mutations. Most of those mutations do nothing or are harmful. Sometimes there's a beneficial mutation. All right, now, that's how it reproduces. Again, we'll run it. Now, I want you guys to notice something very special when it runs this time. Notice it's going through all the instructions. It's copying itself. Here's another key that I have my students observe every time they do this. Do we see that same mutation? Remember, the last one had a U at location 41. Right. This is what we mean when we say the mutations are random. Sometimes we get one mutation, sometimes we get two, sometimes we get three, sometimes we get zero. In this case, we got zero. They're rarely, we don't program them to be in the same place, and we don't program them to be the same mutation. Okay? This is what it means to say that mutations occur randomly. Okay? It's very important foundational evolution stuff. Now let's go to our population viewer. We'll go to our setup. We notice we have a 2% mutation rate. We can change the grid size. If I change the grid size to 5 by 5, you'll notice now all of a sudden there's only 10 cells on the grid. We do typically go with 30 by 30 and 2%. Those are our default parameters, so we'll leave it. We'll drag over our ancestor. All of the resources are available and they're unlimited. That's totally fine for this test run. Here's our stats. Now let's run. As you can see, the fitness is changing, but you can also see none of these organisms have figured out any functions. So how are they improving in their fitness? They are reducing their offspring cost. In other words, they're learning how to copy faster. They're learning how to copy their genomes over with less repetition of instructions. And they're improving their energy acquisition rate. Most of them have not really been able to do that much because they're not performing any functions. What would happen if our DNA could copy itself perfectly? There'd be no evolution. Exactly. It'd be awful. Although I shouldn't say strictly, there'd be no evolution, via vertical mutations. We still might have things like, I don't know. I feel like we'd science the shit out of it, right? So we'd start introducing some mutations somehow, or man, I'm just trying to think. Because technically the population could still change over the generations, right? Just through, who's surviving and who doesn't, right? So if all the short people die off, the average population will get higher, right? These are these sort of really kind of more interesting thought experiments. But I'll tell you what, if you really want to know, pay attention, because we'll be doing some experiments on horizontal gene transfer in Avita. And as part of those experiments, we will actually set the mutation rate to 0. But you would still have evolution via things like genetic drift, right? So we have an exercise in Avita Ed. Hopefully you guys will tune in to the course I do this summer. I'm sort of thinking through this as I'm responding to the question. We do have a exercise where we set the mutation rate to 0, and then we just witness evolution via stochastic genetic drift. So that would be sort of the deal. And definitely tune in to, I believe it's exercise 3 that we deal with that. So that'll be probably about 3 or 4 weeks into the semester where we will tackle that very issue. All right, guys. So now I'm going to show you the best part of working in a digital system. All right. Which is that you start your experiments. You grab your coffee. You take a rip of a bong. All the while, you're hard at work. Whoa. What do you mean I'm being a lazy piece of shit sitting around drinking coffee, talking to my friends on YouTube, and smoking weed on the clock? No, 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 no. I am hard at work evolving populations of digital organisms. I am doing my job, and I am sitting here very diligently while they evolve. Oh, you work in the biological system? Oh, you have to manually do all of your work all day long? Oh, you have to manually check everything? Oh, your research system doesn't automatically just print the data for you as it goes along? Sounds like a personal problem. Sounds like you should have paid more attention when making those all-important life choices. Woo, that digital evolution life is sweet, y'all. All right, let's see what my man Cliff is up to. Cliff's back. Hey, Cliff, what's up, man? Oh, I haven't muted.
The question about... Oh.
Whoop. You're good. You're good.
Whoa.
That's my screen. Through? Yeah, you're good. You're good. We can hear you.
All right, cool. So yeah, on that question of what happens if there's no mutations, there's two questions. One is, what happens if there were never any mutations? And then no evolution. And what happens if we shut off mutations today? What'll happen is there's going to be a lot of variation within your population, depending on the population size and the standing variation. And over time, both by selection, but also by drift, you're going to lose your variation, and eventually you're going to have a totally homogeneous population. And then you'll have no variation. Everyone will be a perfect clone. And then if the environment changes and you are not well suited to the new environment, you dead.
You dead. Cliff, just a quick digression here. When you feel like letting the computer do the work for you, what do you enjoy doing while your populations are evolving and you're waiting on your data?
Oh, I mean, whatever. So usually it's something else, right? I'll go write on a paper, write on my thesis, or go in the shop and get some work done. You know, it's anything.
Cliff is like, hey guys.
I mean, I don't sit around and wait for my runs to finish. I got stuff to do. No, guys, in reality, none of us sit around waiting for our runs to finish. We just get on with something else we have to do that day. But it's kind of a fun meme. I like to do it because I think that's how our other experimental evolutionary biologists like see us, right? Like in their head, right? They're hard at work in the lab, and we just send our stuff off to a supercomputer, and it comes back later, and we don't do really much of anything in between, right? So I kind of like to play with that meme. Even when I did the workshop for the biology and mathematics educators, I was like, oh yeah, this is the best part, guys. Kick back, relax, and just let the computer do it for you. But yeah, that's funny. But yeah, guys, Cliff is a legit. So I am working on a thing right now.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm working on a thing right now where I need to find the right parameters to like create the visuals for a paper I'm working on, and it takes between 10 and 20 minutes to run each test.
God.
And that's like not enough time to leave, and like 5 minutes is like you can't do anything. 10 minutes you can kind of do other things, but then I have to keep coming back to it.
Right.
So yeah, when I'm in that loop, like the 5 to 10 minute loop, then I put on a movie.
Yeah, because you do have to sit there.
Time. I'm watching a movie and I'm just doing a little bit of work in the back. I'm taking a note. I like run an experiment. I go, well, that was good for this. Take some notes. Put in some new parameters.
Yeah, you're in kind of that rapid cycle.
It's my least favorite thing when I have to be that level of interactive, though, because it wastes so much time.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I would say that a lot. And I would say that's one of the main differences you guys will notice between Avita Ed and like the research version of Avita or MABE. In those research systems, we can do huge runs and send them off and literally not think about them again until they're finished. Whereas sort of in Avita Ed, you really you're going back to the lab bench, and things rarely run for longer than 20, 30 minutes. So it's much harder to actually work that into your day. But hey, it's for educational purposes, so it's normally fine because you're doing smaller experiments anyway. Cliff, we got about 15 minutes left. Let me show them. Actually, I want to give you this 15 minutes because I'll be live all day and I don't have anything going on till 3:30. So, anything you want to talk about, or maybe talk a little bit about the MABE system, and then we'll get into it in more detail. Or Berry World.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about Berry World. You can pull up Berry. Like, why don't you pull up that slideshow that I sent you?
Okay. Where did you send?
I don't know if you have PowerPoint.
Did you email it to me, or?
I emailed it to you like right after 1.
Oh, okay. Let me pull it up. You said you emailed it to me?
Yeah. I should have sent it to you yesterday, but
you said you sent it to me today? I don't have it for some reason. That's weird.
Oh, all right. Well, it's got a big attachment, so maybe it's stuck in a pipe somewhere. So yes, I have seen The Expanse. I liked season 1 and 2, and then 3-ish, and then I did not dig the end. It kind of lost its way for me.
All right.
I like when they're about the politics and the societies, and when they get into like the personal, like I don't care about the people.
All right, Cliff, let's give them
that's not what I'm there for.
Let's give them the elevator talk about brains, and then we'll do the presentation on Monday.
Sure. Okay. All right. So let's do like 10,000. So okay. I started to say last time before everything blew up that my research falls into 2 categories. One of them is pure evolutionary theory, and the other one has to do with evolution of very basic cognition, and by that I mean
hang on a sec,
like
Cliff.
the evolution of simple logical circuits.
Guys, we can't cancel Cliff. Cliff makes swords, so that's
no. He's just staying. He's staying that because I didn't like the last season of The Expanse.
Yeah, I know, but anybody that makes swords, I'm afraid of.
But he's fine.
All right, go ahead, Cliff.
Well, okay, that's fine. So the evolutionary theory stuff, I'm deep into that right now because I'm working on a paper that we're going to try to get published this fall, finally, after working on it for 3 years. But the other stuff has to do with sort of the evolution of cognition, and there are a lot of different models. The most common model is an artificial neural network, but there's also like genetic programming trees. There's Avita is a form of this evolved, it's basically like evolved logic. Avita is evolved code, but it implements logic. And then there's another form that I use a lot called the Markov Brain. And Markov brains are like where Avita is evolved instructions in sort of assembly language. Markov brains are like evolving circuit boards. So you're evolving like logic circuits and how those logic circuits interconnect.
Cliff.
But at the end of the day, they both implement logic. So it doesn't really,
Cliff, this is super important. Stupid Whore Energy previously asked me this question, and I wanted her to ask you, so I just remembered it. She asked me, is Avita in assembly? And I wasn't quite sure how to answer it, but you just touched on it.
Avita C++.
I said it's in C++, but then what the organism doing is related to assembly somehow?
What they did for Avita is they made a simple coding language. You could write code in Avita. You wouldn't want to, but you could. And the instructions are very much like the sort of instructions you see in assembly language. So that's sort of which means that they're very bottom level. They're very basic level instructions. So Avidians technically have some number of registers that you can assign. Generally, it's like ABC are the registers. So there's like 3 registers. And registers are just places where they can remember things. So Avidians the Avidian brain type, if we want to use that lingo, has 3 neurons that can remember things.
Guys, quick.
And
guys,
they're just called registers. That's
Cliff,
what
one sec. I just pulled up, let's say, stop screen sharing, share screen, that's screen share. I just pulled up so they can actually see the registers on Avita Ed. Guys, remember, Avita just is the research version, and you don't actually visualize these things. But this is what he's talking about. They're just registers. They're places where it can, store these values. And even in Avita Ed, they're called AX, BX, and CX, and you can watch them. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Cliff.
Do you have the? Can you show the actual instruction list? Does it just show you the A's and the G's and all the stuff, or do you actually get to see like the operator list?
You can see them if you click on them. It'll do like as you step through them. You mean like what they actually are? Or are you talking about the functions?
But they don't show you like a list that shows the operators.
No.
Yeah, the functions like W. Like I don't know what W is. Like W. Like the W that's highlighted right now. That's actually like an operator. Like I don't know what it is. It could be a NOP. It could be a move.
Yeah, I'm trying to show that right now. Actually, so when we go to the organism,
that's the way to understand it.
It is. It's actually the better way to do it. Forward. All right, here we go, guys. Sorry, it had froze for a second. All right, so yeah. So here's what Cliff is talking about. And this is kind of what I was getting at.
So
go ahead.
So G.
All right.
Yeah. G is a move head instruction. So this instruction will cause the IP to jump to the next. That's the iterated pointer to jump to the next location. And
guys, for some of you guys, I hope this is helping.
So move head just moves basically where copy is going to happen, either copy or write.
Right. Now, guys, when I said that this is like, it's like a circular genome, but it works like it can copy itself, but it works like it's filled with blank tape. That's why I use the blank tape analogy, right? Because just like a video player or an old tape machine, right? It's got a play head and a write head. And all right, go ahead, Cliff. You're good. That's all I wanted to say.
Go to C. C is, I assume, not C.
Yeah, and C is not C. Yep, I was explaining that before.
Okay, yeah. No, go to C on just advance to one of these C's.
Yep.
And then A is not A and B is not B.
Yep.
Okay, so what's F?
I don't know. I think I gotta just step around to it real quick.
So whatever this thing is, it's got a bunch of C, because
C is nothing. And then F is...
So that's the blank tape. And
F
then
is
Z,
if label.
V, F, C, A, X, G, W, Z, C, A.
Yeah, that's the copy loop.
Okay.
And F is if label.
So that may be checking. So that may be checking if it's to do with copy. Yeah. So that ZF, ZVF, C all the way up to AC. Well,
all the way to
C, A, G.
Correct.
That's the copy loop.
Correct.
So basically, it can't modify that very much, or else it'll kill it. But anything past that, all those C's, it can modify those. That's where it can start.
What Cliff is?
And so if you look at an evolved one of these, a bunch of these C's are going to change. Well, and then I just want to say what these C's are going to change. And then when you look over on the right and it says function and then number of times performed, you're going to start to see those numbers going up.
Absolutely.
But the performance of those operations is going to be in these instructions that replace C's.
Absolutely. So guys, I just wanted to show you that. We'll definitely get more into that. But so that's what Cliff means when he's talking about that's how Avita is sort of closely related to the assembly language. It's not that it's written in assembly. It's just that the organisms are using this assembly-like language. I think because it makes it sort of Turing complete and blah, blah, blah. It makes the computer scientists get excited. All right, Cliff, and now you're going to contrast that with sort of what's going on in a Markov brain.
Well, I mean, the thing is that the sure.
Or however you want to do that.
Well,
I mean, I just thought that's what you want to do. Oh, you want to do Avita. Okay, okay.
Really,
yeah. Go ahead.
I can't get into it, but well, I mean, yeah. Let's just talk about this because we're here. So the thing is, I mean, what they wanted to do in the Avidian was, or what you're going to have to do in any evolvable substrate, right? Avita is an evolvable substrate that lets you implement some kind of logic. You need to come up with something that can evolve. So there's some papers out there from creationists that try to argue that evolution can't occur. And I reviewed one. Well, it doesn't even matter. They have a published. These guys have a published paper. You wouldn't believe it. And what they did is they said, well, we're going to take C code, like actual C code, and we're going to write a simple thing that's sort of like Avita, but a really dumb version of Avita that like takes in numbers from the environment and then like does a mathematical operator and then outputs it. And then we're gonna make a mutation operator that goes into the memory where the C code is stored and randomly alters the bits of memory. And then they go, look, when you do this, like 99.99999 of all mutations are lethal. They end up in your code literally crashing. And therefore, evolution is not possible. And it's like, yeah, of course it's not. If your substrate is if the physics that operates around your substrate is such that any mutation is lethal, right? There's basically no neutral mutations, and there's virtually no beneficial mutations. Then, yeah, that thing can evolve. And no one would argue with you that it can. And it's not a proof that evolution doesn't work. The fact of the matter is that the ATCGs of life and the Avidian instructions that we see in those organisms, they're the ATCGs. It just so happens that when you mutate those, most of the time nothing happens, and then sometimes you get a little bit worse. And very rarely you get a little bit better. And very, very rarely you get a lot worse. And very, 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 very rarely you get a lot better.
There you go.
Right? That's sort of the distribution if you don't want to put any numbers on it.
Yeah.
But so what they did in Avita was they specifically designed a language, a computer language like assembly. But they designed it such that the order of the instructions, no matter what order you put the instructions in, it's a valid execution. So if you know anything about coding, if you know about Python, you know that there are certain instructions you can't just put them after each other. If you start an if in Python, then the next line has to be indented. If it's not, it'll crash. So you could design a language so that it doesn't have these rules, so that any ordering of code will be executable. Will it do anything meaningful? Maybe, maybe not. That's not the point. The point is it won't fail to run. And so Avita was designed on an assembly template, but it's like a version of assembly, assembly is just the low level code that lets you interact with the chipsets directly on a computer. So like C is like a wrapper. C compiles to assembly, and then the assembly is what actually runs on the computer. So C is just an interface. Python is just an interface. All of them have to go to assembly at some point.
Right,
because
guys.
What talks to the chips on the computer.
Guys, what he's talking about is when something's got to talk to your hardware, right? At the end of the day, your computer's hardware. Something's got to talk to it. Assembly is the layer in between it that's going to be the buffer between the program language that you actually code and the really low level stuff that's interacting with the chipsets and the rest of your actual computers. Is that am I recapitulating that correctly, Cliff?
Yeah.
Okay.
To answer Cameron,
go ahead.
Yes. The answer is yes. They were saying evolution, the way that it's described in science, they're saying doesn't work. Their claim is that sure, in theory, this sounds fine, but when you actually go to test it, it won't work because it's too hard.
And Cliff is saying,
and what they fail to understand is that just because they build a model doesn't mean that model is an accurate representation of the world.
And in particular, they built a model that had these unnecessary constraints in it that don't reflect evolution. And once you take them out in Avita, that was no longer the case. Also, guys, we've stumbled into something that my students will discover probably in front of you, hopefully this semester, which is the reason you can't get away with too high of a mutation rate in Avita. If you guys think about it, if you have 50 instructions and a 10% mutation rate, right, you'd expect to see 5 mutations per reproduction, right? Now, how often can that happen without one of those mutations being within the copy loop and more than likely breaking the organism, right? So my students always come up with these clever experiments. One of them is always, let's play around with the mutation rate. They'll jump to super high mutation rates, 5, 10, 15%, and they'll find that pretty much everything dies, right, Cliff? And that's what you were getting at with you really...
If every organism in your population is receiving a mutation, and a lot of these mutations are lethal, then you don't have any individuals that can maintain, right? So if my organism is 50 instructions long and my mutation rate is 25%, then that means on average I'm going to get hit with, that means I'm going to get a quarter of my sites are going to get hit. I'm going to have about 6 mutations per organism.
Right.
And that means maybe I'll get one that has none, but very likely every single one will have at least 2 or 3. And 2 or 3 concurrent mutations is probably lethal.
That's it.
So you can't get anywhere.
That's
right?
it.
It's like, and because that happens to the entire population at the same time, that means everybody's dead in that generation. Just nobody can reproduce. Yep. Because if any of those mutations hit the copy loop, no more copy loop.
And this is what my students observe. Their screens basically go black.
This question comes up. I got to go.
Yeah. Go ahead. Do the last one.
About the comment about. I just want to this entropy alone debunks evolution. I know I shouldn't the trolls, but
okay.
There is a large amount of energy being input into the system. And I'm sure that you've heard this before, because anyone who brings up that argument, that they hear it. The Earth is not a closed system. The sun is increasing in entropy at a ridiculous rate. And a lot of the energy that we are experiencing here is coming from the sun. There's the core of the Earth is cooling over time, and there's radioactive decay at the core of the Earth that's also generating heat. So that also represents an increase in entropy. And so we have 2 giant sources of increase in entropy: the sun, which is just massive, and some percentage of the sun's energy is hitting the Earth. And then you got the core of the Earth, which is over time, right? It's particularly the radioactive decay is increasing entropy. So you've got 2 sources of massive increase in entropy. All of the decrease in entropy that we see in the organization of DNA is smaller than the energy that's being input into the system. So the net total of the system, if you just consider the Earth, sun, forget the rest of the planets, forget the rest of the solar system, forget the galaxy, forget the universe. If you just look at the Earth-Sun system, the system is increasing in entropy, decreasing in order far faster than it's increasing in order. It's just that locally, on the surface, on this very little shell of the surface of the Earth, we're seeing an increase in order, but only in certain domains, only when it comes to the organization of DNA.
Cliff, that was an incredible answer. I know you got to run. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. Monday at 1, right? Cliff, also,
let's plan to get together a few minutes before then.
Yes,
because we gotta figure out my technical issues.
Yeah, no problem. And also, Cliff, I'm gonna be live every day, so if you ever catch me on and I'm talking about something you want to jump on, feel free to. Just let me know in the chat. And then also, I was gonna say, I hit up Donnie for Standing for Truth, and so I'm going to try to score a debate with Kent Hovind. It'll be ridiculous, but let's see if we can get it. I know you got to run. Thank you, Cliff.
Oh, my God. I just saw this stuff from Rebel. The answer is no. Just the answer is no. I'm sorry. I don't have time to address it right now, but the answer is no. And the follow-up, the corollary to the answer no is you're wrong. You're just wrong. So have a nice day.
All right, I'll see you later, bud. Appreciate you. Oh, that was fun. That was fun. All right, guys. So let's see what to do. I've got some meetings, but I also want to send out some emails, and I want you guys to see me doing that. So let's. All right, let's get into this video that YouTube Punk sent me. Thank you, YouTube Punk. Like I said, I am going to have to put a break in today's broadcast. I might just play videos for you guys, or we'll see what happens. But let's go ahead and get into this. Man, I'm juiced, guys. I drank a lot of coffee pretty quickly, and I'm caffeine buzzing right now. Like, wow. Like, I just feel like I took a 5-hour energy or something. Like, I need to smoke. Anybody got any ideas for how to make myself feel not like I'm on cocaine right now?
In the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10.
See, sometimes when I start enjoying shit too much, I start enjoying my coffee too much, I start drinking it just because it tastes good and it feels good, and then I'll be like, whoa.
Verse 25, Jesus says, "It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God." This is one of the most famous sayings of Jesus. Not only is it quoted by the later Gospels of Matthew and Luke, but it echoes.
Oh, you're No Name Matt. He's crashing off his caffeine buzz. Stay up later. Lena said simple breathing exercises. Rebel Naz wants me to debate Ken Hovind. He said he's already making his popcorn. Reb, we think you're a troll. And that the things you say are quite often ridiculous. But I actually do appreciate your viewership, your chat activity, and you know, I know if I do debate Ken Hovind, you'll enjoy that one. So I really do appreciate that, Reb. Fapping. That'll chill your ass out right quick, won't it? Jay's Clown Girl. Uh-oh. Smoke weed to take the edge off. That's what I've been thinking. Damn, Jay's Clown Girl is keeping it real for real.
It goes through literature for centuries to come, appearing
right, let's
everywhere
put this
from
on
the
the
Quran
screen.
to even the works of Shakespeare. The saying also paints a mental image. The average dromedary camel, the one-humped species of camel you see everywhere in the Middle East, weighs between 300 and 600 kilograms and can measure over 2 meters tall. Meanwhile, here's a sewing needle discovered south of Jerusalem that roughly dates to the lifetime of Jesus. Assuming that this needle is anywhere close to average, the eye of a Jesus-era needle measures about 3 millimeters wide and 7 millimeters long. So, unless you have the gravitational field of a neutron star capable of collapsing the mass of a camel into a tiny pinprick, what Jesus is suggesting is impossible. And that's kind of the point. Jesus is saying that it's impossible for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God. But is this what the passage really says?
Drink water,
there are
go
two
pee.
scholarly sounding theories floating around the.
All right, guys, let me. This is a great time for a community multiplier, guys. This is a fantastic time for a community multiplier. Also, Cameron, I appreciate you trying to correct Rebel Naz. Guys, when we're doing science time, especially as things come up and I'm streaming my class, Cameron is exactly correct. Science streams, educational streams. They're not the streams for like trolling and stuff. Like, we'll time you out much quicker. We'll ban you much quicker because we have educational stuff going on and we want people to be able to check that out. But also, I asked for feedback about the caffeine thing. I got feedback from 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna call it 4 people at least And so what I do is I'm gonna drop $1 million on everybody for everybody that gave me feedback. I really appreciate you guys. I try to do that, and for those of you that don't know, here's why. I'm gonna show you a little bit of behind the scenes stuff, guys. Think about it this way. If I say to you guys, is the stream okay? Do I sound okay on stream? And somebody says, yeah, Jay, you sound fine. Well, anybody else that was about to tell me, oh, yeah, everything's okay, right? They won't, because they'll say, oh, somebody already told them, right? But what you really want as a streamer is you want all your chat engaged, right? And so when you ask for feedback on something, you know, can you guys read the letters on the giant raw thing behind me? You want as many people to respond as reasonable. So to incentivize that, I do a community multiplier, which means if I ask for feedback and one person gives me feedback, I'll give everybody $1 million pocket change. But if 3 people do it, I'll give you guys $3 million. If 5 people do it, I'll make it $5 million, right? You guys see it. That way there's an incentive for more than one person to give me the feedback. It's also a power tip for you streamers out there. Find ways to incentivize your community to participate in bulk rather than asking questions that can simply just be responded to by one person, because then there's less chat that way. All right, let me put this on. I'm going to drop $5 million on y'all. Thank you so much.
The internet that claim to unlock a hidden meaning of the text. And today we're going to examine those theories. Let's get into it. The first theory focuses on the camel, basically arguing that the original saying did not involve a camel at all, but rather a thick rope or cable used for boats. This theory thus suggests that the original saying was, it is easier for a cable to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God. And because of a sloppy scribal error, the word rope or cable was swapped for the word camel when the scribe was copying the text. See, the Greek word for camel in this passage is kamelos. That middle vowel is the Greek vowel eta, but there's another very similar sounding Greek word.
Also, I'm giving 10 million pocket change to Jay's clown girl. Have no idea if that's even about me, but we're going to assume due to the size of my ego that of course it is. Of course, there's nobody else on the internet named Jay. I mean, come on now. Come on. It's not like I got a common name or something like that. I'm giving 10 million on the name alone. Name alone. Flattery will get you everywhere around here. Also, folks, when you want to redeem your points, you just go to the store.
Kamelos, as in rope or cable. Only one letter separates this word from camel, the Greek vowel iota instead of eta. Some have argued that the original saying must have used the word for rope, but some ancient scribe mistakenly mixed up the word for camel, swapping one little vowel for another. This new reading then became the mainstream version, and thus changed the phrase forever. On the surface, this is not unreasonable speculation. Ancient copyists made similar mistakes all the time in antiquity. For example, in Greek papyri found in Egypt, you'll frequently find scribes accidentally swapping the Greek vowels omega and omicron, which suggests the vowels sounded the same during the Roman period. The Greek language also underwent something that scholars call...
All right, guys, you guys are gonna slide up in my DMs here. I'm gonna show you guys some stuff we got going on. All right, so Lamont Stewart is asking me about a podcast we have scheduled for August 13th, which is the day after my birthday. It also happens to be Rich Lenski's birthday. I'll need to remember to send Rich a happy birthday. It's pretty crazy, right? Rich's birthday is a big deal. Everybody, everybody remembers his birthday and sends him emails. But again, my birthday's the day before. Usually he remembers and he'll send me a quick happy birthday email. And again, I give no fucks about my birthday, but I do often appreciate that quick email from Rich. It's always good to hear from him. All right, so are we still good from the 13th? I'm going to say yes, absolutely. Let's schedule a time to meet before so that we can come up with a plan. Afternoons are best for me. What's your availability like next week? Very respectfully. Okay. All right. Boom. All right. Then we've got Mark Reed. Reply, hey, Mark. No worries. Mark Reed was scheduled to join Cliff and I when we went over Mark Reed's debate versus Kent Hovind. Mark Reed and I scheduled the time. I told him I'd send him the restream link ahead of time. But I sent it to him a little bit beforehand, and then he ended up missing it. I guess he probably just forgot or whatever, or checked it. No big deal. Mark Reed has another debate coming up with Kent Hovind, and as you guys heard, I actually might set something up. So I'm really interested in doing more with Mark Reed. So I'm basically going to say no worries. We can definitely set something up in the future. So I said no worries. That was probably. It's probably that's my fault. Let's say that was my fault. I should have sent the link earlier. Let's set something up next week. I know you have another debate with Hovind coming up. Let me see. Would you be free? Let's see. Let me think. Are you free next Saturday at 10 p.m.? I'm trying to think. Late night Counter-Apologetics. Nah, let's do hot program. Are you free next Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern? I'd like you to be our guest on hot program. Very respectfully, Jay. All right. No worries. That was my fault. I should have sent the link earlier. Let's set something up next week. I know you have another debate with Hovind coming up. Are you free next Sunday? Let's put a date there so that it's clear. Because next Sunday for me, I'm thinking the 14th. Who did I say we'd have this Sunday? Oh, Jason Torn. So yeah, that's the 14th. 14. All right. And what is why? I don't know what that is. That's fine. All right. There we go. That's done. All right, guys. Show you a little something. As you guys can see, my cousin's been sending me stuff. That's OG Roddy sending me some stuff. Let me also see what's up here. I'm going to make mine full screen. I should start debating. Yeah, I'm trying to do debates. Standing for truth is the thing we're trying to set up with the Kent Hovind thing. Modern day debates, I would love to do. Somebody could help me set up something with modern day debates, please do. And guys, I'm very inexperienced at debating, so this would all be very new to me. So we'll see what happens. As you guys can see, Erica and I are exchanging emails. We're trying to set something up. Guys, look at the length of the email Erica sent me when I responded to her to thank her for making the episode about me. She was very excited to talk to me. Guys, I'm not even going to lie to you. Erica made it sound like she was more excited to do something with me and to hear from me than I was about her doing a video about me, right? She's just a super sweet person. And so we're definitely working on something with her. Derek and I from Myth Vision are also working on doing something together. All right, there's a couple other emails I need to do. I need to do the Standing for Truth email. So let me pull up his stuff. Donnie's email is public, so I'm not worried about like showing you guys his email address because it's a public thing. All right, open. I think it's in here with dumps. All right, Truth is Hate 2017. All right. Kent Hovind versus evolutionary biologist. All right, here we go. We're going to do Kent Hovind. Let's just say Hovind. Hovind versus Lenski-trained evolutionary biologist. That's actually, sorry, that's supposed to be the subject, not the two. The two is supposed to be cancel. Let's get the email address. Got to copy that. I copied the other thing. All right, here we go. I wish I had somebody to CC on this. Hey, Donnie. My name is Jay Bundy. My YouTube accounts are, I am the owner of the Hunter Biden's laptops YouTube account. I sent a super chat on your stream the day before yesterday. Suggesting that I should be Kent Hovind's opponent for the 300th debate on your channel. I hope you will arrange this exciting event. Oh, wait. Yeah, I'll just say I hope you will choose me to participate in this exciting event. Congratulations on reaching congrats on reaching this milestone. Let's go with that. Something nice for him. Yep, and then we'll attach a couple of things. So we'll say very respectfully, Jay. Now what we need to do, guys, is we need to attach. First off, we need to attach my CV. We need to attach a link to Gutsick Gibbons' video. And we also need to send a link to the clip of Donnie saying that I should be the person to do this debate. So to do that, guys, what we're going to do is I'm going to keep this like this for a second. We actually need to download the video that Donnie made. We need to clip out the part where he talks about me having this debate with Kent Hovind, right? And then I'm going to send that clip and the Gutsick Gibbon video. Why? Because I want him to feel the pressure of, oh yeah, I already said on my channel in front of my entire audience that this guy should be the person to debate Kent Hovind on my 300th debate, right? So hopefully clipping that out, sending him that clip will remind him, hey, I did already sort of commit myself to this. Hopefully sending him the Gutsick Gibbon video will show him, oh, you know, this guy's out here. Gutsick Gibbon made a video about him. You know, he's out here doing things, and he's a legit evolutionary biologist. I also may include my CV. In the meantime, I'm gonna hit the little boys' room real quick. We're gonna download that stream he did, edit that part out, and keep it moving. In the meantime, I'm going to put back on the video that YouTube Punk sent us about the gospel passage going through the eye of the needle and all that. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Y'all know how much I love and appreciate y'all. Even those of y'all who are fucking retarded because you believe in the Republitards or the Korea trash, or you're part of the fucking Jesus Nazi boot camp team or whatever. I might think you're stupid, but I appreciate your viewership and friendship. So thank y'all all.
Yoticism, which refers to the process of vowel pronunciations converging to eventually sound the same, especially the vowel eta shifting to sound like iota. Thus, by the Byzantine era, these two words likely sounded the same, which was potentially a big deal in the business of copying Bible manuscripts. Switch the wrong letter and you...
Guys, please get me Cameron Bennett. Please send me the Aaron Ra debate. Actually, can you drop it for us in Discord? That's something that we should put in the Discord. Guys, if this thing happens, we're going to have to go deep into our study session. I want to see how other people have approached Kent Hovind's debates. I have an approach in mind, but I do want to see what other people did. I'm not saying I'm going to do what they did. Matter of fact, I'm probably not going to do what they did because they already did it. But yeah, I want to see that definitely. And if you guys have anything great, other great Kent Hovind debates or something like that, send it to me. Yeah. Appreciate y'all. Like I said, I'll be right back.
You could accidentally change the meaning of a sentence, and some early Christian authorities noticed the similarities between these two words and assumed that rope/cable was the correct interpretation. The Bishop Cyril of Alexandria, writing in the 5th century, said, "By camel, Jesus means not the living thing, the beast of burden, but the thick rope to which sailors tie their anchors." Modern proponents of this theory agree with Cyril and make two main arguments. First, they argue the word rope makes more logical sense in context. Usually you'd string a tiny piece of thread through the eye of a needle, so using the word rope makes for a more natural hyperbolic analogy than camel, which seems pretty random. Moreover, if this Greek word specifically refers to a nautical type of rope used for boats, then this reading also makes more sense alongside all the boat and fishing imagery that Jesus uses in the Gospels. Some make a second, not necessarily related argument that rope makes more sense if we assume a Greek-speaking scribe was translating from Aramaic, the native language of Jesus. As in other Semitic languages like Hebrew and Arabic, written Aramaic uses only consonants. Thus, the word for camel, gamla, was spelled using the Aramaic equivalents of G, M, and L, and you're supposed to infer the vowels. These Aramaic first theorists claim that the word for rope also used the root GML and was pronounced like gamla, and a Greek-speaking scribe mistranslated the word as camel when copying from a hypothetical Aramaic version of the saying. However, there are several problems with this cable not camel theory that make camel the much more likely reading. First of all, our earliest and best manuscripts say camel, not cable. When piecing together the original text of the New Testament, scholars favor our earliest manuscripts because they're the least likely to have undergone significant change over the course of centuries and centuries of copying. Now, admittedly, a small handful of much later Byzantine manuscripts do substitute cable for camel, but these are much more likely to be later changes, possibly even the result of later copyists attempting to soften the language of the original saying, as the scholar Bruce Metzger argues. Cable theorists thus not only argue against the majority of gospel manuscripts, but they also argue against the earliest gospel manuscripts. Based on the manuscript evidence, camel is the most likely reading. Secondly, there's a parallel idiom in the Jewish rabbinical text, the Babylonian Talmud, that uses the metaphor of an elephant going through the eye of a needle. The New Testament scholar Craig Keener argues this may suggest that Jesus was employing a common figure of speech used among Jewish teachers. When
Yeah, guys, I stopped the audio. Something's going on. I don't know what it is. Something's going on with the machine. This is what was happening earlier before I went live. I sort of lost control of my keyboard. Yeah, it's happening again. God, this is awful. This is fucking awful. It's the type of shit I gotta deal with every day. Just every day, there's something else. Like literally every fucking day there is something, and there's zero way to predict what it is, because honestly it's probably just going to be some shit that never happened before. All right, y'all, I'll be back. I have to restart this computer. I don't really know any other way to deal with this. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know how to fix it, but basically the computer is stuck in a glitch where it just keeps typing the space bar. Yeah, it's just Yeah, it's glitching. I don't know. Come on, stop doing this, please. Let's see if I can fix it by using the other keyboard. The Bluetooth. No, it won't even register this one. All right, cool. Fucking failure. And there's no way for me to switch over to just doing this from Restream. All right, great. Guys, I'm going to have to restart the stream. I'm very, 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 very sorry. It's incredibly frustrating. I'm sure you guys can tell I'm frustrated. I want to throw a temper tantrum and break shit, but it won't do any good. And on top of that, I've already let my advisor know I need to replace this machine. And great. And it's actually good timing because I have a meeting today with my program advisor. And so I'm about to get on him very seriously about the urgency with which I need a new machine. One of my organisms experienced deja vu, exactly. I wonder if I could show you guys what's going on. I think I could probably show you what's happening. It's just hard because I can't type, so I can't actually. It's really hard to do this. Let me see. All right, there it is. You guys see that cursor just uncontrollably moving across the screen? I can't do anything about that, right? That's what's happening. Is the cursor is glitching, it's taken on a mind of its own, and it just won't stop. There it is. You can see it. And so I basically can't use the keyboard or anything because of that effect. I don't even think I can restart it, right? It's probably too hard for me to restart the machine, right? Because I can't even select the restart thing. Let me make sure I get all this so I can get this on film so I can show this to my program director later and say, hey, you know what would be great? It'd be great if people weren't making videos about me that 30,000 fucking people see. And then as my stream is blowing up and I'm getting new viewers and subscribers every fucking day, and I got people like Derek from Myth Vision trying to help me blow up, and I just showed my audience all this really cool, exciting stuff I have coming up. Yeah, it'd be really great if my computer didn't just glitch out and break in the middle of these streams. I don't know about you, but I don't know. I think it'd be fucking awesome if I could stop having these problems, right? So that's the conversation we're going to have today. I'm literally just letting it do this enough so I can have him sit there and watch this and understand how awful this fucking is. All right, guys, I'll be back. I'm going to restart the machine. Thank you guys for being patient with me. I'm going to restart this machine. I'm going to restart this fucked up ass stream. And we going to get back to it. I'll see you in a little bit. Thank you guys so much. Oh, I'm not even going to be able to. I'm going to go to commercial, y'all. I'm going to go to the commercial, let the commercial play while I end the stream. Like I said, I'll be right back. Thank you guys so much.
Just remember, Dristan's like sending your sinuses to Arizona. Get Dristan decongestant tablets.